Hey man, they got police. Oh.
The word Bible derived from the word bibelo. It's a Roman and Greek word which means a collective of records, a collective of books. The Bible is the records of the Israelites who are mentioned over 2,500 times. In fact, the Israelites wrote the Bible. The Most High deals with one bloodline throughout the Bible, from Adam to Seth, from Seth to Noah to Shem, from Shem to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob to the 12 tribes of Israel, where Christ will be ushered in. It's a bloodline. The God in the Bible is known as the God of Israel. The whole Bible is pertaining to the children of Israel. It's their records. That's what we're going over. We're going over the records of the Bible. What is the Bible? The records of the Bible. And I brought other books here. You know, this is a good book for if anybody want to get it. It's also when you go to artificial intelligence. This book is also reference. It's called From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph Winsner. It said this book is intended as a supplement of existing literal on African and Black Hebrew history to get a background knowledge of the history of the Black race. And reader is urged to start at the beginning and continue to the end. See, what we got to realize is what we go wrong is we allow our enemies to teach us everything. You will argue with us about the Bible, but who actually taught you the Bible? Your enemy taught you the Bible. The same people taught you the Bible that said color don't matter, made everybody Caucasian. only to say now in day and age, they'll say, well, he's not Caucasian, he's a Middle Eastern. You got white people living in the Middle East, you got black people living in the Middle East. So that never made sense to me. But the original people in that land were black. So I want to read to you what the Bible actually means. So now let me read to you off the thing. It say, the word Bible comes from the Greek word Bibelon, a plural Biblia, which means book or scrolls. Over time, the books came to be referred to as collectively to the sacred writings that make up the scriptures. These texts indeed are a collection of records written over centuries by Israelite authors, and the central to their story is in lineage from Adam through the patriarchs. Let me read it again. This is telling you what the word Bible actually means. I'm reading to you. The word Bible comes from the Greek word biblo, which means book or scrolls. Over time, the books came to be referred to collectively to the sacred writings that make up the scriptures. These texts are indeed a collection of records written over centuries by Israelite authors. And central to their story and lineage from Adam through the patriarchs down to the nation of Israel. The etymology of the Bible, Greek biblo, book, scrolls, papyrus, plant used for writing. It says, Israelites certainly in the Bible. The nation of Israel is directly mentioned thousands of times in the text. He said the genealogical line from Adam to Seth to Noah, Shem, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Israel, 12 tribes, frame much of the biblical narrative. God is frequently identified as the God of Israel. He said, particularly in the Hebrew scriptures, the Bible functions on the historical, legal, and spiritual records of the Israelites. I want y'all to see this. And see, listen, they came up with a new, now this artificial intelligence, I already told you, ChatGPT agrees, but now, white folks came up with another artificial intelligence line called Perplexity. So this is the new one that came out. And even the new one is confirming that the Bible is the records of the Israelites. The same thing we've been telling y'all. The same thing we've been trying to let y'all know. It's like all the computers is confirming is that the Bible is the records of the Israelites. So the reason why I need us to understand is because if we know what the book is about, then we can get a better understanding of what's in the book. So it's like, how we going to talk about the book, but we don't know what the book is about? We got to know what the book is about, right? So the only way for us to know what the book is about, we got to know what's in the book. We got to know what the book is about. That's just that simple. Ain't no way around it. We got to know. That's the only way we're going to be able to know what the book is about. So now I want to share something else with y'all. It said, because this book is so good, it tells you how Moors came into existence. It talks about the Empire of Mali, how they had ships, they had all, and then the good thing about this is you can look up this information in other literature from other authors. You know what I mean? It tells you the birth of Islam, how Islam came into existence. But I want to read about the Black Jews. So let me go to page 33. And then I'm going to go back to artificial intelligence just to give you an idea why we believe what we believe and why we say what we say, but it's also can be backed up. This ain't something we just out the clear blue coming out our mouth thinking. So now let me go to, it said the origin of the black Jews. Originally, Hamites and Shemites were black. Abraham was a black Shemite and a descendant of Shem. And the name of Abraham was Abram before he was referred to as Abraham. He said the three Hebrew patriarchs were Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said this Jacob begot 12 sons, and who later fathered the 12 tribes of Israel. Abraham was the father not only of the Hebrew Israelite nation, but also of the Arab nation. He said, now, the mother and grandmother of the Arabian nation were black Hamite Egyptian women. So it tells you the forefather, even the forefather of the Arabs, they were originally black. Well, the women was black. He said, and the fathers of the Arab nation were Abraham and Ishmael. He said, black Shemites. At a certain time, there were hard feelings between Sarah and Abraham's wife, but it's just telling you the forefather was Abraham. They're letting you know through historical records, Abraham was a black man. And not only was Abraham a black man, he said, Arabs ain't black, you fool. Well, listen, let me read this again. The origin, and I have a brother that just came on my line and just called me a fool, but let me help educate you for something. Your forefather, Ishmael, came from Abraham. Abraham was a black man. You are whatever your father is. That's in the Bible. That's Numbers 1:18. That's how you become, whatever your father is, that's what you are. So if his father was black, that would make Ishmael a black man. The original, listen, not only y'all ain't the real people, y'all ain't, you got so many stolen identities and stolen land. The funny thing about it is you people really believe y'all think y'all the original people. That's the funny shit. So let me keep going. Now, the mother and grandmother of the Arabian nation were black Hamite Egyptian women. That means the foremother of you people, she was an Egyptian. It said, and the fathers of the Arabian nation were Abraham and Ishmael, black Shemites. Y'all might not know this, but y'all are actually Semitic people too. Arabs are Semitic people. The only people that get to really flex on the Semitic side or saying you're making anti-Semitic statements, which I can't make because I'm a Semitic person, it's white folks who claim to be Jewish. But y'all are actually Semitic people too. Y'all came from Shem. So let's keep going. Let me help educate you about where you started from. Matter of fact, let me stick to my course where I was going. It said, and Hagar, Sarah's maid servant, so Hagar fled from Abraham's house to dwell in the wilderness. And the Jewish nation wrote that Ishmael married an Egyptian woman. So then y'all had not only, so you got to understand his mother was Egyptian. Then Ishmael went and married the Egyptian woman. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep going. As a result, he begot 12 sons. He said, Kedar, the Arabian Peninsula. He said, this country is known today as Arabia. He said, to those who do not believe that the ancient Arabians were black, I would like you to make one point crystal clear. If your mother and grandmother were black, I'm positive that you would have many colored features. Do you understand that? The mothers of you Arabs, the mothers, they were black women. You understand that? They were black women. So let me help. I got to keep educating y'all on. Y'all don't even know stuff about y'all. I ain't about to go back and forth with you about arguing about no Allah. So let me keep going on what I was saying. After Joseph was sold down into Egypt as a slave. Now, Joseph was an Israelite. He was sold to Egypt as a slave. Now, I want y'all to think about this without the white man thinking for y'all. If Joseph gets sold to Egypt as a slave, let's keep going. He said, Joseph's 10 brothers came into Egypt. Egypt is in Africa. Egypt is not a part of the Middle East now. You know how y'all keep changing history? The book is telling you that Egypt was a part of Africa. I also got a Time magazine from 1968 that also tells you Egypt is a part of Africa. Egypt ain't no damn Middle East. I'm watching y'all not only change the people, y'all geographically changing locations. So let's keep going. Joseph's 10 brothers came into Egypt. Egypt is in Africa to buy corn because of the famine was in the land. All newcomers who came into Egypt had to buy corn from Joseph. But when Joseph's 10 brothers came to Africa, they did not recognize him. So now I need y'all to think for a minute. If Joseph's 10 brothers came, if they sold his brother to Egypt, this is a bloodline brother. So we're going to say over a course of time, they ain't seen him. So your 10 brothers go to Egypt, it's a famine. Y'all ain't got nothing to eat. So when y'all go to get something to eat, the big man that's calling all the shots, y'all standing before him and y'all don't even recognize this your brother. You think this is an Egyptian. See, come on, y'all. I need y'all to think for me. If you thought this was an Egyptian, then that means it's color. Stop thinking color ain't in the Bible. Color all through the Bible. That means Joseph had to look like the Egyptians. This comparison was always throughout the Bible. They always compared the children of Israel to the Egyptians. They always compared them. So let's keep going. So let me get down to the bottom of it. It said Moses had been It said if Moses had been a white baby, it would have been difficult to conceal him from her father's anger. In a period of Moses, the black Egyptians enslaved black Jews. You know who the black Egyptians were? They were the people of Kemet. See, Egypt is actually a name white folks gave that land, the Greeks. So they're telling you, if Moses didn't look like the Egyptians, his father would have flipped the script. So Moses had to pass for looking like he was an Egyptian. I'm saying this all this to say, because when y'all get to talking about, we always bringing up color, and why do color matter? Color matter because it's in the book. Geographic locations is in the book. So I don't get to decide what is in the book and what ain't in the book, because you know why? My God preserved these records for the children of Israel. Because when we can go back and look in these books and see these records and say, oh, this go over here. Oh, these people look like, we can go and read the records. That's why he put it in the records. So color matter because it's in here. It's about using common sense. So one more time, if Moses also looked like an Egyptian, then Moses had a color. He was black. All this old stuff about this, he was black. Now you might say, well, how can I prove that? Well, y'all don't mind if I go to artificial intelligence to read what artificial intelligence says, and then I'm gonna go back to prove that the people of the ancient Israelites were always compared to the ancient people of Egypt, the people of Kemet, not the people that's over there now, them Arabs that's in there. You want a simple apology for saying Arabs pump gas. Man, listen, why would I apologize to you for saying Arabs pump gas when you know the gas on the west side in the black community? Do you know our gas tanks was freezing up because they was using water in the gas? Did you know that? Y'all, come on now. I ain't got to go. You know how y'all Arabs get down, man. Y'all see a bad meat and everything. I'm going to keep it real with you. A lot of people were scared when that September 11 shit happened. It was like, oh, the Arabs. I wasn't really scared of y'all because I know y'all wasn't going to do nothing in the black neighborhood but sell us bootleg CDs, bootleg meat, water, the gas that's cut with water, After all, y'all saying niggas, y'all doing the same. Y'all just got a different hustle. So let me get back to what I'm saying. I'm gonna get on this artificial intelligence and show you. Then I'm gonna go back to the history books to prove to you that the people that was in that land were black. And you might have said, well, how you know they was black? Because what we do in my school is we go with the records that the Most High preserved. The Bible is the records. That's why I read to you from different websites to show you what the word Bible actually means. Don't got nothing to do with no religion. It's spiritual for the people who the Most High gave it to. And I'm gonna tell y'all something else, and y'all, this gonna blow y'all mind. When y'all keep talking about the Holy Spirit, if y'all had the Holy Spirit a part of y'all, y'all be able to decipher these scriptures. So now let me go back to what I was saying to prove to you that the people in that land were black. So now let me go. You know, I don't mind doing this because I know when it comes to the Israelites, y'all make us prove everything. Y'all ain't gonna ask that pastor to prove nothing, but we got to prove it. If we say it, we got to prove it. So now I'm going to you to different sites to read to you. You know what? I'm gonna try to use this new website. Why did they change the name to name? Why did they change the name from Kemet? Well, you got to understand, when you go over there in Egypt, Egypt had been conquered by many different nations. A lot of people don't know that. It was more than one Cleopatra. It was a few Cleopatras. But the original people of Kemet, or what before they called Egypt, they were black. That's why you don't have them statues, the noses, the lips, they blew all them off. And then you had the Romans, the Greeks had that land, the Romans had that land, the Arabs had that land. You had a few people that conquered lands. And sometimes when they conquered these lands, the scriptures tell they named the lands after them, or they changed the name and became the people of that land. You got to think about this. You got white folks now in South Africa calling themselves Africans and actually claim to be the people of that land. And this is the flip side. When them people come back to get that land, when they come back and go to war about that land, the people that took that land be like, these people wrong. How dare they come back after my ancestors killed their ancestors and took this land from them, and they got the nerve to want this land back. So they took the name mainly from Kemet and Alexander the Greek. The Greeks named it Egypt. That's how it became Egypt. But originally, the whole continent of Africa was called Kemet. That's why when people say we Africans, I say, well, Africa had several names. So now let me use this new artificial intelligence, ChatGPT. Wait a minute, I want to do two of them. I want to go to ChatGPT and show you what it say. Then I'm going to go to another website and show you what that say, just so you know that this ain't something that we make up or something that we came up with, or we was just in the room one day and we say, man, let's put this together and say we the children of Israel. We ain't got nothing else to do. We might as well claim to be Israelites. So now I'm going to show you the whole, what they would call Middle East was black, to back up what this book is saying. So let me go. You got to go. Let me see. I got so much stuff loaded on here. Okay, let me see. Bear with me. Let me see. I got to probably go all the way up here. Because you hear a lot of people now say, well, Jesus Christ he looked at Middle Eastern. A Middle East is not even in the Bible. When did they start using the word Middle Eastern? See, these things like that, we have to research. We have to research. Because they changing so much stuff now. They literally changing history right before our eyes. So let me find it for y'all. Y'all might want to see me do it live. I'm gonna do it live. I ain't gonna even look. I'm about to do it live for y'all. This is on this new artificial intelligence, Chat GPT. We've been killing that. This new intelligence called Perplexity, something like that. So let's see what it say. There is no such thing as the Middle East. The Middle East is a made-up term created probably in the 1500s. That whole land was known as the Fertile Crescent. And that whole land at one point in time, the people inhabiting that land, the children of Israel, they were black people. Also, Iranian researchers have also concluded that the original people that was in that land were black. Throughout the Bible, the children of Israel were always compared to the ancient people of Kemet, which is Africans. Kemet, you know, which was known as Africa, was called Africa at one point in time. The original Egyptians were also known as Kemet, Kemmit. It went from the Garden of Eden to the land of Canaan. The Canaanites were descendants of Ham. Ham was a black man. So if the Canaanites was black, we know the Canaanites were in that land and occupied that land. Also, the Sumerians, you can look at the hieroglyphics on the walls, they were also black. German scholars have also concluded that the ancient Israelites were black. They were not of Arab, and this is prior to the Arab and other nations conquering that land and coming into that land before they divided that land up like it was prophesied to happen in the book of Luke. Agree or disagree? So let's see what it say, y'all. So now let's see if it agree with us. The term Middle East indeed is a relatively modern geographic political concept rather than an ancient one, meaning for political reasons, this is how the term Middle East came into existence. It don't exist in the Bible and it's not even real. It said the term Middle East is indeed a relatively modern geopolitical concept rather than an ancient one. It was coined in the early 20th century by Western powers, particularly British and America. So they tell you British and America made up the Middle East. It don't exist. They created the Middle East. So when y'all say Jesus Christ looked Middle Eastern, you're a lie. The Bible is the official records. So let's keep going. It say to describe a region strategically important between Europe and East Asia. Historically, the area was referred to by different names as the Levant, Mesopotamia, Canaan, or the Fertile Crescent. They tell you that's what is the name of that whole land. When I say that whole land, Palestine, Iran, all that is just one. It say on the Fertile Crescent, the ancient people, the Fertile Crescent is a term created in the 20th century to describe a fertile land spanning from Mesopotamia, modern Iraq and Syria, to Canaan, modern Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, and Egypt. The region saw the birth of early civilizations such as Sumer, Babylon, Assyria, Egypt, and Israel. The people in this area were highly diverse, including Semitic. He said ancient Israelites in skin color. Modern scholars generally agree that the ancient Israelites were a Near Eastern Semitic people. Their physical appearances likely resemble Levant populations. It said ancient texts included biblical comparisons, the Israelites to neighbors like Egyptians and Cushites, Nubians through interpretations, though interpretations vary. Some traditions and modern Afrocentric scholars propose that the Israelites and neighboring people, including the Canaanites and Egyptians, were black or dark-skinned. German Iranian researchers, as you know, that have explored such claims that though these interpretations remain debated in the mainstream. So they're telling you that the Israelites resembled the Cushites and Egyptians. That's if we going by the Bible records. So what we do as Israelites, we go by the records of the Bible. That's what we go by, because the Bible are the records. So I can get on artificial intelligence and talk boldly to it because I know the records of the Bible. So I'm reading it to you in the book, and I'm also putting it up on your artificial intelligence just to show you. Ancient Egypt in Kemet. Ancient Egyptians called their land Kemet, meaning black land, likely in reference to the dark, fertile soil or Nile floodplain. You know, he said, however, he said depictions of Egyptians in art shows and range from skin tone, including very dark complexions, reflecting a diverse and Nile Valley which connected to Africa to Near East. He said Sumerian, Canaanites, and Ham. The Canaanites were described in the Bible as the descendants of Ham, one of Noah's sons. He said in the Bible, Ham is the descendants. Descendants include Egyptians, Canaanites, Cushites, Nubians, and others often associated with Africa. Ancient Sumerian and Canaanites communities were part of the same Levanic culture. So now they're telling you that all these people were all like of the same culture. So it's telling you like ain't no damn Arabs was a part of these people. So when you say Christ looked Middle Eastern, the people at that time were black. So when y'all like to play these games, y'all like to play, and why does it matter? Because it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. In some, the Middle East is a modern European term, you know. So let's see. Let me go back to reading this. In summary, there is more than enough evidence to prove that all the original Israelites were black, including the surrounding nations in the Middle East. I just read that off artificial intelligence. Now I'm reading it out here from scholars who also, this is why we tell you the Bible was a history book. As long as you think this is about some kumbaya, you're not going to understand these scriptures. And the only way you can truly understand these scriptures is dealing with the men that the Most High sent for you to learn these scriptures. He said, there is more than enough evidence to prove that all the original Israelites are black, including the surrounding nations in the Middle East. We must consider the evidence that there were original black people in India, and the Cushites, Ethiopians inhabited in the southern Mesopotamian valley, that Abraham, Ishmael married African women, Egyptians, that the Canaanites belonged to the African family nations, and ancient Israel intermarried with these black Canaanite tribes at the time that Joseph was of Egypt, and his brothers could not distinguish him from the black Egyptians because Joseph was black. So it's telling you that Joseph's brothers couldn't distinguish him from the black Egyptians because Joseph was also a black man. See, to us, that's common sense. A Christian would say, well, that don't matter. Well, then why the Most High put it in the book? Why did he put it in the book if it didn't matter? It mattered because the people that he was going to send out, the people that he wanted to sit down and teach this, and we learn and study, the men I came up under, General Yohana, the captains, the 5,000s, it got passed down to us for us to know this. So it might not matter to a Christian. It matters to us because we can see things that y'all might not see. It's another topic I wanted to discuss, Lucifer. Lucifer is not no angel. So all of y'all watching these videos and I had a couple of people ask me about Lucifer. Lucifer was this fallen angel that came down. Lucifer is not an angel. I know y'all seen the talk show, the TV show where Lucifer was the devil and everybody named Satan is Lucifer in the Bible. When you go to the book of, let me give y'all this game. First and foremost, what y'all have to learn in Christianity is stop isolating verses. What do I mean by isolating verses? Let me show you. I'm going to go to Luke. I'm going to go to Isaiah chapter 14, and we're going to read about, we're going to start at Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. And it said, how art thou have fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And what Christians do is they stop at that verse right there. They stop reading. They stop reading at that verse and they don't read no more. And that's called isolating verses. You can't say in the book of Lucifer, he was an angel that fell for heaven. That did not say that. Let me read it again. Isaiah 14 and 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And this is where you Christians close the book. Y'all close the book and it's over with. They say Lucifer failed. That's not what it said. See, what you have to understand when you read this Bible, we're going to stay in the book of Isaiah. We're going to go to Isaiah 28 and we're going to read something. Isaiah 28, when it dropped down from 9 to 10, it said, whom shall I teach knowledge? Whom shall I make understand doctrine? Them that are weakened from the milk and drawn from the breast, for precepts must. Do you know when it say precepts must, that means you obligated to use a precept. You must use a precept. That means you can't take a verse in the Bible and say this means this. He said precepts must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. The reason why I'm going over this real quick is because people been asking about Lucifer. I had somebody on the Facebook asking about Lucifer. So this is why. Go to the book of Psalms 119, 104 and get a better on Psalms 119, 104. And it tells you, it says, through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore, I hate every other false way. Meaning you understand the Bible through precepts. It's set up to be read a certain way. When you isolate a verse and just read one verse and you just run from there, you won't get no understanding. So now let's go back to Isaiah and see if Lucifer was a fallen angel. To answer your question, you make sure everybody know that Lucifer, we're going to see if Lucifer was a fallen angel. So now let's go back to Isaiah chapter 14. This is actually a future prophecy. I kind of love Isaiah because Isaiah chapter 14, it talks about how us Israelites is going to rule over the other nations. And then I'm going to drop down to where we talk about Lucifer. Let's start at verse 1 and give you a little context. It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. You know how y'all say he got rid of the children of Israel? This is a future prophecy. This is for all you Christians that say in the New Testament, the Old Testament is done away with. This never happened. This future prophecy. It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers, that's the non-Israelites, shall be joined with them. When we say salvation, our salvation and your salvation is different. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressor. I love when we get to reading Isaiah chapter 14. But let me drop down to verse 12. And let's see if Lucifer was a man or was he an angel. The reason why I told y'all precept upon precept, because what Christians do, y'all isolate a verse. Y'all stop at verse 12 instead of continue reading, and it would tell you exactly who Lucifer was. This is about somebody falling from power. This has nothing to do with angel. It said, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, the son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? Verse 13, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, and I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north, and I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, and I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit, and they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man? Is this the man that made the earth tremble, that did shake the kingdoms? Lucifer is not an angel. He's a man. It's in reference, I think it's about Nicodemus and somebody that had failed from power. It's not in reference to an angel falling from heaven. Listen, you know, in the Bible, angels didn't have sex with women, and none of that stuff didn't happen in the Bible. When it talks about the sons of Adam, that's talking about men, because men get punished in that story. Not angels got never. You can't read nowhere in the Bible where the angels got punished for sleeping with women or nothing like that. So for y'all that asked me the question about the story about Lucifer, read from 12 down to verse 16. That's what you must read from. There's no such thing as angels having sex with men, and ain't no angel challenged God to a duel and it took 10 paces and turned. None of that didn't happen in the Bible. Even when you read in the story of Job, the Satan has to go and answer to the Most High. He had to get permission from the Most High. Do you know in the story of Job that Satan didn't even bring Job up? The Most High brought Job up. Satan didn't bring him up. The Most High brought Job up. Go read the story. Satan don't have the power that y'all think he have. Everybody answered to the Most High in the Bible. Everybody. Ain't nobody going to war with the Most High. Everybody. He the boss of all bosses. He ain't strong. Ain't nobody strong enough to go against the Most High. So when you read about Lucifer, Lucifer was a man. That's who Lucifer was. He ain't no fallen angel, and he came down to earth and he turned into the devil, and he ain't, you know, all them spooky stories y'all be hearing. That's not in the Bible. This is why you have to come to the men of the Lord to get the correct understanding of the scriptures you read. So it's one more thing I wanted to clarify. There was something else somebody asked me. Yeah, I spoke on Lucifer because everybody was asking about Lucifer. And for all you people that keep talking about the blowing of the trumpets and we going up in the rapture and all, I've been seeing all these videos. Well, the memorial of the trumpet was yesterday. Well, no, it was Monday. Yeah. No, it was Sunday. And guess what, y'all? Y'all didn't even celebrate the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. Let me show y'all what we talking about. I see all these videos, everybody talking about it, but nobody actually celebrated it but the Israelites. We actually we kept it. And it don't have nothing to do with no rapture. Rapture is not in the Bible. Stop asking us about the rapture. Ain't no damn rapture in the Bible. I don't even know what the rapture is. I thought y'all were talking about Anita Baker or something like that. Ain't nobody smoking up in no rapture. You can't even show me that trash in the Bible, man. That ain't in there. No rapture is in the Bible, y'all. Get rapture out y'all head. So you see this? The blowing of the trumpets. I see everybody all over the internet talking about this. Everybody talking about this, these spaceships coming, the blowing of the trumpet and everything, but y'all didn't celebrate that. Y'all don't even know to celebrate that. What do y'all find about the blowing of the trumpet? The memorial of the trumpet, the blowing, it's a high holy day. Where do you find it at? You find it in Leviticus chapter 23. Let me check this to y'all. The Day of Atonement is also coming up. You might say, what's the Day of Atonement? Well, the Day of Atonement, let me show you what the Day of Atonement is. You find all these verses in Leviticus chapter 23. Leviticus chapter 23. You know what the Day of Atonement is? The Day of Atonement is every year the Most High told the Israelites, for the sins we committed, we ask the Most High to forgive us. And how do we show we want forgiveness? We afflict our souls. Well, you might say, well, how do you afflict your soul? We afflict ourselves by every year we make atonement for all the sins we committed. So for 24 hours, we afflict our souls. We don't drink water and we don't eat. We fast and we pray and we ask the Most High to forgive us for all the sins that we have committed. Now you might say, well, when is the Day of Atonement? I want to do the Day of Atonement. The Day of Atonement is actually on, it starts Tuesday the 30th. So that means you're going to go from Tuesday sundown to Wednesday sundown. You don't eat, you don't drink. If y'all really trying to follow, because I hear everybody talking about the memorial or the trumpets in Leviticus 23. And let me show you some of what it says in Leviticus 23. Let me just go here real quick and share this with y'all. I mean, y'all seeing this all over the internet. Y'all might as well start keeping it. This is what it says. Leviticus chapter 23. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. So what y'all don't know in the Bible, the Most High have holidays set up for us. Like y'all celebrate Easter, Thanksgiving, these are pagan holidays. Leviticus chapter 23 give you the holidays that the Most High gave for us, these feasts that he had for us. He says, 6 days shall thy work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. In the Sabbath of the Lord is all in the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. Meaning wherever we dwell, wherever we go, we keep Saturday is the Sabbath. He said, in all your dwellings, everywhere you go, you keep that. He said, these are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. He said, in the 14th day of the first month is even the Lord's Passover. So now it tells you about us keeping the Passover, not Easter, Passover. You know, it said, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread. That means you take all the unleavened bread out your house, and for 7 days you eat something with no leavened bread in it, like tortilla shells or the corn chip ones, not the ones made out of flour. He said, the first 7 days shall have a holy congregation. Ye shall do no servile work. He said, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. So you might say, well, these holy days, like we have the Passover, we have fresh fruits, first fruits. We have We have so many different days. So when you read Leviticus chapter 23, them are the high holy days that the Most High gave us to celebrate. So when you hear everybody talking about the memorial or the trumpets, and you hear people talking about they soul, you see a lot of videos out now. You know, they say they have 3 ships approaching, so everybody feel this is the rapture, the memorial, the trumpets just happened. So you got people talking about they selling everything they got. They getting rid of all it because they going up in the rapture. But if you wasn't keeping the high holy days, how y'all figure y'all gonna? How do y'all even feel any of this apply to you when you wasn't keeping it no way? And then you got to remember this. It say this, and the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them. This is for the children of Israel. So everybody who's making all these videos, all these different people talking about we going up in the, it don't even pertain to you. If you're not a children of the, if you're not one of the children of Israel, this won't be pertaining to you. And if you don't keep the high holy days, this is not pertaining to you. With that, any more questions y'all have to ask, I'll be free to ask them. Matter of fact, y'all can just come online or just send a text, and I don't mind answering the questions. Satan is not, Lucifer is not an angel. He's a man. When you all read verse of the Bible, y'all never get the correct understanding of the Bible. So sometimes you have to read just a man that fell from grace. That's it. Fell from out. A metaphor that's being used when you read about Lucifer. It's just a metaphor.